ever had that feeling that something wasn't quite right, but you didn't know how to act on that feeling? Maybe your body was tightening or your stomach dropped. Something just felt off. And instead of clarity, you felt overwhelmed, foggy, or maybe even frozen. Later on, when things were quieting down, you replayed that situation over again in your mind, wondering, why didn't I trust myself? Why couldn't I think straight? Today, we're exploring exactly why that happens and how anxiety can drown out your inner knowing even when it's trying to protect you. Well, hey, gorgeous, welcome back if you're OG, and if you're new and we've never met, I'm Tara Kinden, founder of Bioenergetic Somatics. My work lives at the intersection of nervous system science, somatic awareness, frequency, and what I lovingly refer to as cosmic rhythm. I help women reconnect to their bodies in very grounded and practical ways, because your body isn't just something that carries you through this lifetime, it's intelligence. And when signals feel confusing, there's usually a reason for that. So intuition is often quiet. It's never dramatic. It doesn't usually shout. It's very subtle. Maybe you sense it in the body as a tightening in your chest, a heaviness in your gut, a sudden loss of enthusiasm, or just this quiet inner no. But anxiety is loud. It screams. It's fast. It's urgent. It's overwhelming. So when fear activates, it completely drowns out that quieter signal. And not because your intuition is gone, but because your nervous system is now on high alert. Imagine this. You're being treated in a way that feels absolutely inappropriate or very uncomfortable. At first, your intuition whispers, hey, maybe you feel off, maybe you feel uneasy. But if you grew up in an environment where speaking up didn't feel safe, or where your needs were minimized, a survival pattern can activate almost immediately. Instead of responding from your deeper knowing, the body shifts into protection mode. You go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. The pattern many women develop where the system attempts to stay safe by appeasing or accommodating others. You may start agreeing just to keep the peace, smiling even though you feel super uncomfortable, trying to manage the situation rather than honoring yourself. Once this shift happens, clarity often disappears. When survival response activates, the brain reorganizes instantly. The parts responsible for reflection, language, and perspective step back, and the parts responsible for immediate safety take over. Executive function drops out. You may notice words disappearing or coming out scrambled. You lose your train of thought. You can't access examples you could normally recall. Your mind goes blank under that pressure. Memory becomes harder to access. Someone might even challenge you saying, give me an example. And suddenly you got nothing. Not because you don't remember or don't know, but because accessing detailed memory requires a calm nervous system. Your brain is prioritizing survival over storytelling. Perception narrows. It can feel like wearing horse blinders. Your awareness collapses to what's directly in front of you. You can't zoom out. You can't see context. You can't imagine alternatives. Everything feels immediate and intense. Afterward is when the clarity returns, maybe minutes, hours later. Your reflective brain comes back online, and that's when the replay starts. Why didn't I say something? Why did I go along with that? Why couldn't I think clearly? Because in that moment, you weren't operating from your reflective mind. You were operating from the part of the brain designed to keep you alive. The body wasn't malfunctioning, it was executing a survival program. Even in the most overwhelming moments, your deeper knowing does not vanish. It doesn't shut off. It doesn't abandon you. It becomes obscure. Think of it less like something breaking and more like something being temporarily covered. Your intuition is not a fragile signal that disappears under pressure. It's a stable underlying orientation. Activation doesn't erase it, it just masks it. So when your system is highly activated, survival responses move to the foreground. Fear, urgency, reactivity, noise. These signals dominate your awareness, so everything else fades into the background. Not gone, just inaccessible in that particular moment. You may reconnect to it only after that moment passes. And this is why clarity often returns later on. Once your system gets a chance to settle down, you suddenly know exactly what you felt, what you wanted, what didn't sit right. People often interpret this as, I should have known better, but the truth is, you did not know better. You couldn't access the knowing while your system was being so overwhelmed. And nothing about us or you were lost in that moment. Your capacity for insight, discernment, and self-protection didn't disappear. It was simply offline for a period of time. Just like vision disappears in a blackout, not because your eyes stopped working, but because the lights went out. When the lights return, so does your ability to see. The system is designed to come back online when the time is right. The nervous system is not built to stay in emergency mode forever. Given safety and time, it just naturally recalibrates. And when it does, your deeper orientation returns with it, not as something new, but as something that was there all along. Even in the most overwhelming moments, your deeper knowing doesn't vanish. It doesn't shut off. It doesn't abandon you. It simply becomes obscured. Think of it less like something breaking and more like something being temporarily covered over. Your intuition is not a fragile signal that disappears under pressure. It's a stable underlying orientation. Activation doesn't ever erase it. It just masks it. When your system is highly activated, survival responses move into the foreground, creating urgency, fear, reactivity, noise. These signals dominate your awareness, so everything else kind of fades into the background. Not gone, just not as accessible. You may reconnect only after the moment passes through. This is why clarity often returns later on. And once your system settles, you can suddenly know exactly what you felt, what you wanted, what didn't sit right with you. And people often interpret this as, I should have known better. But the truth is, you did know. You just couldn't access that knowing while your system was so overwhelmed. And nothing about you is lost. Your capacity for insight, discernment, and self-protection did not disappear. It was simply offline for a period of time. Just like vision can disappear in a blackout, not because your eyes stopped working, but because the lights went out. And when the lights go back on, so does your ability to see. Your system is designed to come back online. The nervous system is not built to stay in emergency mode forever. Given safety and time, it naturally recalibrates. And when it does, your deeper orientation returns with it. Not as something new, but as something that was there all along. You've probably heard this phrase before. When emotions are high, intelligence is low. Not because you've become unintelligent, but because intelligence reorganizes. The blood flow shifts, hormones surge, neurochemistry changes. Your body prioritizes speed and protection over nuance and subtleties. And if the intensity exceeds what your system can handle, another response might happen. You may feel detached from your body, foggy, numb, distant, almost like watching yourself from the outside. This is not a moment of weakness. It's a protective buffer, a way for the nervous system to reduce its overwhelm. Now, if you've been having some intense situations lately and you're really noticing how much you're in your head, here is a simple practice you can try tonight to get back into your body immediately. Wash your feet. Nothing elaborate. Literally just go and sit on the edge of the toilet, the tub, or a chair. Run a face cloth under warm water, not hot, and just slowly wipe your feet. The top, the bottoms, between the toes. Most people wash everything else in the shower, but barely even think about or touch the feet. Yet our feet is how we move through life. They are also packed with nerve endings connected to our whole entire body systems. As you do this, begin to notice the temperature, the texture, the pressure. It's a form of sensory grounding, bringing awareness back into the body through gentle touch. You don't have to believe anything about it. Just be curious about how it feels and notice if you begin to have less circling in the mind and more reflection in your physical body. You recognize yourself in this conversation. You are not alone. So many women have lived these experiences without ever having language for them. You may have noticed moments where your body shut down, where your thoughts disappeared, where you couldn't find the words, where everything suddenly felt way too loud, too fast, and too much. And afterward, you wondered, what just happened to me? Nothing is wrong with you. Your system was trying to protect you the only way it knew how. Anxiety, disassociation, overwhelm, these are not character flaws. They are signals that something inside you registered a level of intensity faster than you could actually process. And what changes things is not forcing yourself to be calm, not pushing yourself to handle it better, but beginning to notice. Noticing when activation arises, noticing when your senses begin to narrow, noticing when you leave your body for even a moment. That tiny moment of awareness will create space. Not space to fix anything, just space to choose your next moves more consciously. And sometimes that space is as simple as feeling your feet, washing your hands, looking around the room, taking one slow, deep breath. Small anchors that can tell your system, I am here, I am safe, I'm enough right now, as is. This series isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about getting curious about how your system actually works and learning how to meet yourself and understand yourself instead of adding more pressure. Because once you can reorganize these patterns, they lose some of their power to run the show without your conscious awareness. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying with me all the way to the end. If you want to explore this and other conversations similar to this, I created an entire moving from that head into the body video series right here on YouTube. The link is below. It's where we unpack this process step by step. You can go and start at the beginning or jump in wherever you feel is most helpful for you. There are already several videos there waiting for you to explore, and you can move through them at your own pace. I've also included a bonus sound healing for those of you who are curious about how frequency and sound can support your body. It's a gentle way to experience frequency and notice where it settles your system, how maybe it brings in more softness, and that you can come out of this high alert state, even if you've never tried sound before. If you're looking for more personalized support, ways to really come home to yourself, book a private session with me. That's where we can look at what's happening in your world and work with your system in a much more individualized way. If someone came to mind while you were listening, a strong and powerful woman who might need to hear this message right now, share this with her. Sometimes the most meaningful ways we can support someone is simply saying, "You're not alone. Here's what helped me." Again, thank you for sharing your time, your energy, and your love with me. I'm so grateful. Remember to like, share, and comment what has worked for you in this series. What has been feeling really juicy and delicious? And as always, remember who you came here to be. And I'll see you in the next episode. That playlist is right here for those of you who are curious.